everybody, welcome to something new that we're gonna try. Oh yeah, the ace hat, but something new we're gonna try. I'm gonna do a list of the top 15 most offensive storylines in wrestling history. Anyway, we're gonna start with number one, the choppy your pee-pee incident on Monday Night Raw. Okay. Stereotypical Japanese accents aren't offensive enough for you. How about seeing Val Venus almost falling victim to a samurai sword? Venus, a porn star character, was feuding with Tai Stable because he slept with Yamaguchi-san's wife, Shi Tai Long, and was tied up backstage and nearly castrated, but saved by John Wayne Bobbitt himself. When porn stars Shrinkage and John Wayne Bobbitt are involved in a wrestling angle, you know you're in uncomfortable territory. And the infamous line, choppy your PV, is unfortunately extremely tame compared to the rest of entries on this list. Okay, we're on to number 14. And number 14 on my list, the WWE is known for dragging personal demons into storylines, exploiting them for entertainment, and it seems especially heinous when it's done to a legend. Hawk, of the Road Warriors, was continually going through some tough times, alcohol and playing a significant role. Hawk would show up to matches drunk, kayfabe, actually begin to openly consider suicide. The most infamous moment of that storyline was when Hawk climbed into a Titantron in order to kill himself, but the new partner, Puke, pushed him off. Rather than support Beam for Hawk during the dark times, WWE uses pain for cheap entertainment. When does the story go from there? Once you have wrestlers killing other wrestlers, you've definitely lost your sense of decency. Billy and the Wedding of Billy and Chuck, which is number 13 in our list. Billy Gunn and Chuck Palumbo were likely hesitant to go with a homosexual tag team angle, but wasn't big enough stars to fight off WWE Creative. The culmination of their storyline was a wedding that aired on SmackDown in 2002. Now, I would like to remind you that I was watching this episode in 2002 of SmackDown, and I was completely confused because I was a child, and I didn't know what I know now, so I'm just kind of like, okay, well, whatever. Homosexuality is a gimmick, has its own issues, but the wedding smelled of cheap publicity stunt from inception. WWE had no interest in promoting understanding of gays and lesbians. It was just using gay people as a punching bag for punchlines, which sounds horrible enough, but, you know, it happens. Some being gay should be a reason that they're booed, but WWE fed off the varying degrees of homophobia, that's a new Pokemon, homophobia throughout the country. The wedding itself currently got some extra eyes to tune in, but left a bad taste in our mouths. That taste was sploosh. Anyway, Eddie Gilbert's broken neck. Then the WWF never appreciated Eddie Gilbert's talents. In the early 80s, he resided on the WWE undercard, seemingly going nowhere. Vince McMahon Sr. involved him in an angle where Masked Superstar broke Gilbert's neck. Oh god, Gilbert. Making the idea even more unnerving was the fact that Gilbert had recently recovered from a real-life broken neck that he suffered in a car accident. In the Attitude Era, where tastes are often nowhere to be found, this might have been brushed off or overshadowed by something worse. But back, it was received harsh criticism, and it should have. Number 11. Hornswoggle is McMahon's child, but not really. Oh god, this story. The existence of Hornswoggle in the 21st century boggles the mind. Leaving a little person to play a mute leprechaun, putting him in there and being pointed and snickered at seems something we should be over already as a society. In 2007-2008, McMahon felt the storyline fraternity suit where a legitimate child turned out to be Hornswoggle, though he was somewhat not McMahon's son, but Finley's. When the wrestler benefits from the storyline, Finley, at least some of these angles were meant to heighten the feud. This lowbrow story went on for weeks, with most fans just wanting to see it end. Now, I'm not okay with, the explosion of little midgets, but this one, the next one on this list, is baffling. We're not even there yet. We're on number 10. There must be tons of ideas tossed around when trying to conceive a storyline to pit Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero against each other. The custody of Dominic angle was out somehow. Guerrero claimed to have a secret about Eddie's son, Dominic, which turned out to be that Eddie was the boy's biological father. During a creepy segment Eddie Guerrero called Bedtime Stories, he told fans about how he had a child out of wedlock and gave it to Rey and his wife. The cheap angle culminated in two men battling for custody of a human being in a wrestling match. Not a ladder match, mind you. A ladder match. That's how we should all settle disputes in society. We should just have a ladder match. Just hang our children from ladders. Though Eddie Guerrero was masterful as heel, it was painful to see a kid used as a prop in a story. Pro wrestling often borrows from soap operas, but it strayed too far from this world. Now we're on to number 9, Big Show's father's funeral. I think I missed this one before, but it's so out of nowhere. But we're gonna get into it. Involving a fake death is a discomforting idea on its own. When Big Show's father died in 1999 storyline, WWE filmed a funeral complete with tears and emotional speeches. The Big Show's rival at the time, Big Boss Man, interrupted the proceedings and stole the casket. I have several questions. I can't. No. Okay. Back to what I was talking. Watching Big Show claim that the casket was, as he was dragging it away, was a surreal moment. Big Show's father had actually died years before his fake wrestling death. When he looked down to the mockery, he was smiling. He was so proud. What are we doing here again? Anyway. We're going to talk about a number 8 on our list. Which, honestly, if we didn't have September 11th happen, I think this would have worked greatly. No, I don't think it would have worked at all, honestly, now that I think about it. It probably would have been a load of dog shit. But I'm not saying September 11th should have happened or it shouldn't have happened for the storyline to sort of work, but it wasn't going to work to begin with. So leave September 11th aside, nothing. Now you know what we're getting into. We're getting into Muhammad Hassan. Portraying Hassan as a Muslim fed up how fed up how his people are betrayed in the media and how he feels held back because of his anti-Muslim settlement. Would have gone great if they had stopped there. On an episode of SmackDown, Hassan had 4 masked goons attack The Undertaker with piano wire and clubs. This was after 9/11. Anyway, with a viewing audience still stinging from 9/11, with many fans having trouble disassociating Islam with terrorism, this angle could have only served to fan the flames of hatred. That sounds like a good band. Why the hell does this not exist? Anyway, to make matters worse, the segment aired on the same night of the terrorist bombings in London. Good job, WWE. Good job. Anyway, WWE got a lot of unwanted press with the storyline, and Hassan's career was over afterwards. If only it had ended on a better note. Okay, let's get in depth about it. Muhammad Hassan was supposed to beat Undertaker at SummerSlam, and the pay-per-view afterwards, he's supposed to win the title from Batista. But that didn't happen because Undertaker killed him on television. My understanding, that's what happened. I must have missed that part. I haven't seen the match between Undertaker and Muhammad Hassan where Undertaker just beat the living shit out of him. I have not seen it. I probably watch it tonight. It sounds like a really fun idea. It sounds like a really fun party. We should all join this party. Just go get popcorn and chips. But back to what I was doing. In 2004, Kane abducted and tied up Lita. After, Lita revealed herself to be pregnant. This is number 7 on our list. Anyway, while the story didn't feature direct rape, Lita claimed to be asleep Kane so he wouldn't attack Matt Hardy, and did have sex, which isn't the most sensitive angle imaginable. A good rule when creating a WWE storyline is to avoid dead fetuses. There are plenty of options without going down that uncomfortable road. But WWE is WWE. I forget that. Anyway, one of the better modern female wrestlers had a recent being a part of a tasteless storyline. We're into number 6 on our list. Oh, good God. This is not vodka, even though I wish it was, because I have to read this bullshit. Anyway, with someone as big an ego as Mr. McMahon, being that all gods should fall before him, and that all should worship the religion humbly known as McMahonism. Anyway, with someone as big as Vince McMahon, and only a matter of time before he decided to take on God himself. Anyway, despite the obvious insensitivity issues here, there's also a problem of logistics. How silly is it to watch a spotlight move toward the ring and have us expected to believe it was God making an entrance? How many Christians did McMahon alienate with this? How many old school fans and purists saw this ridiculous stunt and decided to never watch WWE again? I'm sorry I'm going back and forth between English accent because it's funny. Deal with it. Anyway, we're going to number 5 on our list, which I admit was a cool thing to actually see, but now that I look back on it, I'm older and I have the knowledge that I have now, totally out of left field. Anyway, we're on to number 5. Anything with Eugene. Try explaining Eugene's character to someone who doesn't watch wrestling and watches their eyes widen and jaws drop. I was going to say something, but I think I'd offend everyone. But for several years, there was a wrestler whose gimmick that was that he was mentally, I'm not going to say the R word because it's very offensive, he was mentally inept. He couldn't function correctly. He was... Whatever I say, I'm going to offend everyone. Whatever. Anyway, it was hard to believe it happened. What did Nick Dinsmore think when the Eugene gimmick was proposed to him? He probably laughed it off initially, thinking McMahon was kidding, and now, regardless of his talent, he's become a punchline. A really big punchline. Eugene Dinsmore is actually one of the trainers at the NXT fuck is it called? Training center. And he also writes storylines. So, along with Billy Kidman, I guess both those people needed jobs after they realized their careers were going downhill anyway. That was a shot fired at Billy Kidman. Anyway, during a feud with Booker T, one of the world's greatest wrestlers was saddled with a horrifying angle that he was painted as a sexual predator. This is number 4 on our list, and we're talking about the Olympic gold medalist, Mr. I Can't Survive Without Painkillers, Kurt Angle. Anyway, Kurt Angle attacked Sharmell backstage and forced himself on top of her, putting his hand over her mouth. Just typing that sentence, or reading that sentence, made me cry, and made me sick, and made me sad inside. Anyway, why did anyone think this was a good idea? Though they didn't actually show sexual violence, this is still a new low for WWE. I actually did not see this incident ever. It was mentioned to me in passing. When I was talking to another WWE fan, he kind of mentioned it to me. I was like, what the fuck? Why did WWE think this was okay to turn their Olympic gold hero into a sexual predator? Was Chris Hansen going to show up on Monday Night Raw and be like, sit down, Kurt, we need to talk about your baldness and the fact that you're attacking black women on television? Number 3, Mark Henry and Mae Young. Is it over? Nope. Okay. Seeing an iconic athlete like Mae Young turned into a joke breaks my heart. It literally does. It breaks me. How many fans know nothing of her accomplished wrestling career and only know her as a woman who gave birth to a hand? Excuse me. Okay. I can buy The Undertaker has some supernatural powers and that Hulk Hogan didn't feel anyone's punches because the fans were powering him up, but how can I wrap my mind around an old woman pushing out a gooey hand from between her legs? I can't. I won't. I will not believe it. The thought of it makes me want to go puke in a bucket. In fact, there's a bucket right here that I've been furiously puking in since I mentioned this thing. It's right there. This was a waste of TV time and an embarrassment for everyone involved, including Mark Henry, whose career did not go anywhere after that. It still isn't going anywhere. Please don't hurt me, Mark. Eddie Pollution. Well, this is a really, really, really hard thing for people to really talk about. This is the death of Eddie Guerrero. I was watching Raw the week that they talked about Eddie's death, and I remember just bawling my eyes out because this man is a great in-ring performer, and it's just out of nowhere. Just I don't even think I could come up with anything funny just to talk about this, but I will go into the details on why it was just a really bad thing to do, especially so soon. Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero's death has been used for too often in storylines in ways that don't honor him but instead cheapen his legacy, which is true. Since his death, we've seen Randy Orton tell Mysterio that Eddie's in hell, which was cold. It was very cold. Big Show spitting on Eddie's lowrider to draw heat. Fucked up. McMahon is the ultimate opportunist and saw Eddie's passing as a way to create new angles and make more money, which is not what you do with the death of someone who's made you more money than, I don't know, John Cena. I'm just going out of left field here. It's currently true that controversy sells, but where does one draw the line? I draw the line at making my deceased wrestler's legacy into a cash cow. I'd kind of would draw my line at that. But Nintendo's guilty of the same thing, and fans are guilty about Satoru Iwata's passing, and they're just, you know, they were just selling products. Nintendo's guilty of the WWE. Nintendo's the new WWE. Confirmed. If the death of a legend who gave his life to your company is fodder for WWE plots, then it seems that maybe nothing is off limits. And number 1 on our list. You know, I really don't think I should be talking about this. But do I really want to talk about this? I will talk about it because I love you. Anyway. Involving a dead woman in a storyline is grounds enough for inclusion on this list. But throwing necrophilia into the mix puts this angle in a class all itself. Try to watch Triple H hump that mannequin in a casket without being completely creeped out. I will add a picture of this. Anyway. What's wrong is that Kane and Triple H were prominent stars, so this wasn't some story on the back burner, it was part of a major feud. WWE should collect and destroy all evidence of this incident, which I think they have. I don't think there's any videos of it on YouTube. I couldn't find one. Anyway, no one's career has furthered with this crap, and who is even really entertained? All it managed to do is put a giant scar in the face of wrestling that may fade, but some will never let go away. Okay, now that that's over, remember, this is sports entertainment. I do not condone anything that the WWE has done over the past 25 years. I do not condone it. I do not enjoy it. Well, I do enjoy it. Some of the storylines are pretty interesting. But anyway, that's it, you guys. You know, you can send me suggestions of lists that you might want me to do. I'm actually going to work on another one, the top 10 most hilarious storylines. That I'm probably going to do. Well, later.